Hello, welcome to this 5 and 15 Stay-at-Home Edition. 5 titles in 15 minutes or less that you can access from the comfort of your own home. My name is Tegan Menino, and I'm the Technology and Technical Services Librarian at the Clapp Memorial Library in Belchertown. I'm currently reading Odd Thomas by Dean Koontz and listening to The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. If anyone has any questions or comments, I can be reached at tmenino@cwmars.org. If the building is closed, how can we borrow books? That's where e-libraries come in, and each recommendation will have information about where to find it, though details may have changed since recording. Overdrive, with its companion app Libby, has ebooks, audiobooks, magazines, comic books, and movies. The Clapp Memorial Library is a member of CWMARS and contributes to that collection. There may be additional title availability by exploring partner libraries, which include the other major public library networks in the state of Massachusetts. Hoopla. The Clapp Memorial Library provides access to Hoopla for its patrons. You can borrow ebooks, audiobooks, comic books, music, movies, and TV episodes. If you do not have a Clapp Memorial Library card, check with your home library to see if they offer Hoopla, or try out the Boston Public Library e-card program, free for all Massachusetts residents. Lastly is Open Library, a research source provided by the Internet Archive, open for anyone to sign up and borrow from. You will need to read the files in an e-reader program such as Calibre, the Pocketbook mobile app, or load into an e-reader device. Today's topic is speculative ability, neurodivergent science fiction and fantasy. Before we get into it, a quick moment to define neurodiversity. Neurodiversity is a concept where neurological differences are to be recognized and respected as any other human variation. These differences can include those labeled with dyspraxia, dyslexia, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, dyscalculia, autistic syndrome, Tourette syndrome, and others. I wanted to do this reader advisory video for April as part of Autism Awareness Month and try to highlight titles that don't negatively portray non-neurotypical characters nor rely on stereotypes of the neurodiverse. Additionally, several titles on this list are own voices. First up, This Alien Shore by C.S. Friedman, published by DAW in 1998. This Alien Shore is a rich, wide-ranging space opera populated by entire cultures that are neurodivergent. It's also one of the few instances where I've encountered that does not relegate the character with dissociative identities to the role of the surprise villain. The book is a fantastic read on its own, well written and engaging as the characters move through challenges and threats towards opposing and conflicting goals. This title can be found in Open Library. Next up is Spellwright by Blake Charlton. This is the first book in a trilogy that was first published in 2010 and finished in 2016. Spellwright is an own voices fantasy novel with magic, spelling, and dyslexia about a, quote, failed chosen one and how that shapes who they are as an adult and the challenges they must face. The author wrote this first novel while a medical student and delivers rich and realized characters and continues to publish fiction and nonfiction. This title can be found on Open Library. Core of the Sun by Johanna Sinsalo. This was set in an alternate historical present. Sinsalo gives us a handmaid's tale read-alike set in Finland where strict laws controlling education, diet, gender roles, and more are justified in the name of public health and safety. The story is told from the first-person point of view of a woman who wants to save her younger sister while needing to hide her intelligence and an overriding addiction to capsaicin. Mentioning the synesthesia is a bit of a spoiler, so I don't want to get into the details, but it adds texture to the entire story and is a subtle addition that passes notice until deliberately called out. This title can be found on Hoopla. Lock-In by John Scalzi. This is a near-future science fiction police procedural set about 25 years after the United States was swept by a highly contagious virus, where most experienced nothing worse than flu-like symptoms, but 1% of the victims were locked into their bodies, fully aware but unable to move or respond to stimulus. Known as Hadron syndrome, they navigate the world through android bodies, the internet, and by partnering with specially trained integrators that allow people to pilot other bodies. Now, rookie FBI agent Chris Shane and their partner must investigate a complicated Hayden-related murder, discovering a plot that puts the Haydens right in the crosshairs of human rights and capitalistic gain. This lock-in can be found on Overdrive. On the Edge of Gone by Corianne Duvis. Duvis gives us a post-apocalyptic story where society is still transitioning from what it was to what it will be, starring an autistic protagonist. This Own Voices novel doesn't discard or kill off disabled characters simply because the world is ending. Kirkus gave it a starred review saying, "What makes this a winner is the nerve-wracking adventure, life-affirming science fiction with spaceships, optimism in the apocalypse, and a diverse cast that reflects the real world." This can be found on Overdrive, Hoopla, and an open library. Now, there's one additional title I wanted to mention, but I couldn't include because it wasn't available in any ebook collection, so you'll have to wait until we open up again. And that is The Arcadia Project by Michelle Baker, which is made up of Borderline, Phantom Pain, and Imposter Syndrome, which is an Own Voices trilogy featuring a protagonist with borderline personality disorder. I hope you enjoyed Speculative Ability, Neurodivergent Science Fiction and Fantasy. This 5 and 15 was written and produced by Tegan Menino for the Clapp Memorial Library, a CW Mars member library. For questions and help with our e-library offerings, email tmenino@cwmars.org.